Hey guys, it's your girl Kimberella and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So before we get started into this video, I want you guys to like this video, share this video with your friends, and please subscribe. Also, click that bell to get notifications whenever time I post and upload new videos. That'll be great. Thank you. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about Love is Blind. It's been a trending topic for the past month now. Love is Blind is about like a group of strangers that are coming into this space, right? Going into a blind date. So basically each individual is placed in a pod and they have to talk to another person across the room without actually seeing them. So it's kind of like a mixture of blind dating with speed dating and also like a hint of I kind of think about it like it's like Tinder and Hinge and OkCupid, because it's like, well, without the profile picture and the texting, it's like you don't know what you're gonna expect once you meet this person for the first time, right? That's how I kind of think about it. But yeah, so basically like they're in pods and they're trying to get to know each other, and all they can really do is just like visualize what the person looks like. But that kind of defeats the purpose of Love is Blind, because you gotta love the person or really like the person based on their personality. After 1 week they have to propose, or after several days, I don't know really the time length, but at the end of the blind date, speed date thing, they have to propose to that person. Like they're in the pods, they have to propose while they're in the pods, and then they'll see each other for the first time, and they'll probably they'll see each other for the first time, and then they will propose again, but this time in person. So I'm just like, that was really shocking, because I was just like, you might be saying yes to a murderer. You might be saying yes to a child pedophile. Like, you might be saying yes to a really random, weird person that you probably will grow to hate over the years, or probably over the course of the entire experience. They get on like a whole nice vacation to, I believe, Mexico for a week, and they get to know each other physically. So first they got to know each other, I guess on a not really personal level, but more on a emotional level, in terms of like, you know, how to express their feelings. But now they're going to Mexico to get to know each other on a physical level. So yeah, you know, stuff goes down in Mexico basically. And then after that they spend, I believe, another week together living with each other. And also like the couples that have been engaged in the process will also be living in the same apartment. So that was a hot mess. And then at the end, they will finally get married. Let's get started with the cast members of the show. Lauren and Cameron. So basically, let's start with Lauren. So basically, Lauren was my favorite of the show. She was she was a really nice girl, you know, had a nice personality, you know, beautiful smile and everything. Like, the only thing I didn't really like was that she was questioning about the whole process about getting married to her fiance, Cameron. Like, if she, like, I don't know, I felt like she wasn't ready to get married, because she always kept on dragging like, oh my God, I have to give up my space, I'm not gonna be single anymore, and all this stuff. Well, it is expected to react like that, because for someone that has been single for so long and is just used to having her own space, it's like taking a huge step, right? That can be terrifying for her. But I'm glad that she went through the process and she got married to Cameron. It was kind of like it was kind of like a disservice to Cameron, because it really felt like she wasn't really into Cameron as the weeks went by, and Cameron was more into her. So I felt like I didn't know if she was actually going to say yes when they were walking down the aisle. But she did. So I was like, I'm very surprised. We'll just see how long this will go. But yeah, so next, Cameron like is a really sweet guy. He's so nice. His rapping skills is not the tea. It really isn't. He really loves Lauren. Like, he loved her more than she loved him. And I was very surprised that they said I love you to each other after getting to know each other for like 3 days. I was like, that's a bit extreme. I don't, that's interesting. So my question about him, like, the thing that was kind of to me was just like, he would always talk about his ex and get really emotional. I guess maybe the breakup wasn't great, but I don't know if he was trying to fill a void by getting with Lauren, and maybe Lauren will be his replacement to his ex that he lost. I felt like he wasn't really over his ex, you know. Like, I know like breakups can be hard sometimes, but there's a point where you would kind of get over it. But I felt like the wound was still fresh. Lauren was a rebound. Yeah, I just felt like he wasn't ready either. Now we're gonna talk about Mark and Jessica. So speaking about Mark, he was my favorite cast member in terms of the guys. Being comforting when it came to like Jessica and just like caring for her and just, you know, trying to make Jessica comfortable with this whole process and just really being there for her. And it was really nice. And he, like, I feel like any girl would be lucky to be with Mark, because he just seems like the guy that would always be by your side through like thick and thin, and, you know, just always be there during your happiest moments and your most like depressing moments. So I felt like he deserved way better than, like, he deserved more. Jessica was trash. She was a trash individual on the show. I did not like her, and Mark deserved better. He should not given her a second chance. And let's go to Jessica. See, Jessica, this is an example of a girl that you should not let your man stay around with. Like, this is where you need to go like, no. This is a girl that will take your man. This is a girl that will take your man. You know, you just need to know. The reason why she only went to Mark is because she got dumped by Burnett, because Burnett wasn't really consistent with his feelings, and he just said the wrong things that really got into, and Jessica really took that, and she was in her feelings about it, and she thought this was going to be a thing, and then Burnett was like, nah, girl, I don't want you. And then she was in her feelings, and I felt like it was in a place of insecurity that she went with Mark because she didn't want to be alone, you know? She did not want to be alone. And it was definitely like noticeable that she did not want to be alone. The fact that she'd be like, oh, Marky, Mark, and all that stuff, just begging. And I'm just like, girl, you're just, no, this is just not it. It was just very upsetting to see that. And I felt like this experience was definitely not for her. She was definitely rushing into everything just because she didn't want to look like that one that ended up with no one. So she definitely went back to Mark. But I thought at the beginning her and Mark were really cute together. Like, they were very similar in a lot of ways, like the way they would talk about, you know, religion and children and cooking and everything. I was just like, oh my God, this is a perfect match. And then, you know, I guess love is not blind in terms of Jessica, because she heard Burnett and she imagined who he was going to look like, and he looked exactly what she was imagining. And she's like, oh, this is my type, but Mark is this, but Burnett is that. And I'm just like, girl, this is Love is Blind. Okay, now Kenny and Kelly. They were the boring couple. They're actually not memorable to me. They were not memorable at all. Like, Kenny, he's a nice guy, but he was just boring. He was just very boring. Kelly, she's a nice girl, but what she did to Kenny, you know, at the wedding, that was just terrible. And I had a feeling that she was not physically attracted to Kenny. She is not. And she said it like in her interviews of how she's like, oh, I would go for someone like Barnett. And I was like, what's up with Barnett? To be honest, there's no shade to Barnett, but he ain't that cute. He just ain't that cute. And I'm like, I don't see the hype in him. I guess because he's tall. But I'm just like, girl, Kenny is nice. He's sweet. He's charming. He's also tall too. But I guess it was just like the physical attraction was not there, and she should have just been upfront about it, and then she could have put an end to this. You know, she was just dragging it along all the way to the altar, and then she said no to him. So yeah, but overall they were both boring. Yeah, they're both boring. Okay, Barnett, aka Matthew, and Amber. Yes. Okay, let's talk about Barnett. Very indecisive, doesn't know what he wants. He's very, you know, charming towards the ladies. He was like the favorite in terms of the females. And yeah, he finally decided to go with Amber. I thought they were a great fit for each other. You know, felt like Amber can control him. She's a very, like, you know, she has a strong personality, you know. But yeah, I felt like Burnett low-key liked the attention that Jessica was giving him, because the way she would throw herself onto Burnett, and should have just been the stronger person and the wiser person to stand up for himself and say like, hey, I need boundaries. My fiance is over there. She's looking at us. She feels uncomfortable. And Amber was uncomfortable throughout the whole situation. Like, she had a feeling that Jessica was into Barnett, but she wasn't unsure. But Jessica did some shady stuff behind Amber's back by always meeting up with Barnett one-on-one. And that was just some shady stuff. And Barnett should have stood up. It took him to the end of the entire experience to say that. And he should have said something a long time ago. Should have drew the line in terms of what is acceptable and what is not. And I felt like he low-key liked the attention. And I didn't like how he was letting this happen in terms of Jessica's behavior. He could have pulled her to the side. Like, if he really truly cared about her, he could have said like, hey, girl, you're embarrassing yourself on national TV. You need to stop. Like, she was an embarrassment. She was legit drinking, intoxicated, drinking wine every episode. Amber, you know, personality strong, you know, she's out there. Her laugh is but I felt like she centered her entire life around Barnett in terms of like, you know, her lifestyle and how the marriage was going to be, like how she like, oh, I want Barnett to be the provider. I want him to take care of me. And I understand that some women want their man to step up and take care of them and provide 100% while they're just, you know, the stay-at-home wife, which she wants to be, which is a choice. That's fine. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like she could have articulated herself better in terms of that, because the way I perceived it, it really felt like she was like a damsel in distress, and here's Barnett to save her. Like, he was her knight shining armor. And it's very medieval times, and I feel like we live in a time of more independence, and women can do a lot for themselves. They don't need a man to really do a lot of things. So I felt like she was highly dependent on Barnett to take care of her financially and to have everything secure. Her personality, like, she portrays herself as a boss, blank, blank, you know, fill the rest. But it was just the way that she was talking about, like, later in the process, it was just like, oh my God, take care of me, do this for me, do that for me. And that's what I was getting. I was like, girl, she's more than that. She can do more than just, you know, being a stay-at-home mom and letting Barnett take care of her. Like, don't you have hobbies? Don't you want to, you know, clear your debt? Like, I feel like she should concentrate on herself more and try to take care of herself as opposed to a man taking care of her. But that's my personal opinion. And if she's happy about that, then she's happy about that. Also, during the reunion, I love the way she called out Jessica. I was just like, tell her that. Like, yes. Yeah, that's what Barnett should have done during the damn episodes. And he didn't do that. So Amber had to do it. I was like, yes, put her in place. Jessica was all silent, all cricket. She could not say anything because she knew that Amber was right about what she was saying. Everything. And I liked how Jessica owned up to that. She had to, because did you see how Jessica could not look at the playbacks about her experience? She was just so embarrassed. I was embarrassed for her. I'm just like, girl, you're accomplished. You have so many things going on. Why are you acting like this? This is not cute. This is not cute. Okay, let's go to Giannina. Me and my pronunciations. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Giannina. We're gonna go with that. And Damien. This was a very interesting couple. I'm gonna call her short for Gia. I felt like Gia was hot and cold. A little, I'm not gonna say the word bipolar. I understand the outburst at times when Damien was sometimes not doing anything wrong. Like, he would be on his phone. She's like, oh, you need to listen to me. You listen to me. And then she would just go out of nowhere and start cursing and everything. Well, first of all, he shouldn't be on his phone when she's talking. So I understand that. But then she would just, you know, take it to the max. I'm just like, okay, girl, it's just not that serious. And when it comes to relationship, like, you know, as a couple, like, you guys need to compromise. You guys need to express your feelings. And I felt like she was expressing her feelings definitely, but she was expressing it in the wrong way, to the point that she was becoming like really defensive of how like, oh, I'm always right and you're always wrong. Like that's what I was getting. And I was like, girl, you need to hear what he's saying. He's speaking to you calmly and you're just here screaming and shouting at him. No wonder he left you at the altar. But yeah, I felt like Gia, she's not ready to be, she's I guess Gia's not ready to be in a marriage. I feel like she needs some time to really have growth, to really, you know, to really understand herself better, to really not be hot and cold at times, but be rational when it comes to situations, especially when it's confrontation and trying to address people's emotions and her emotions, and to consider and be sympathetic or empathetic towards other people's emotions. Because it's just like, the way I see it, it's like it's either her way or no way, or I'm always right and you're always wrong. So I felt like she needs time to work on herself a little bit more. Damian, he to me was kind of sketchy at times. He was, I don't know, like, no, he's not sketchy. Damian was okay, but he was not memorable. I didn't really care for Damian. I really did not. But I didn't like how he said no to Gia, you know, in front of her parents and everything. And then Gia ran off. Like, that was like really sad. And I'm glad that they didn't get married. I feel like they need time to just be boyfriend and girlfriend, as opposed to just rushing into a marriage. The fact that they cannot speak to each other and have compromise and just voice their opinions without one getting mad, Gia getting mad and just storming off. I'm just like, if you can't have a conversation about how to turn off your phone when you're having, you know, personal time with your boo thang, how the heck are you gonna have a whole marriage for the rest of your life, you know? And there would be more problems coming up, like finances, kids, housing, all that. So I'm just saying, like, But yeah, back to Amber. Yes, back to Amber and Barnett. So I liked how Netflix caught them talking about finances, which I feel like finances in marriage is very important. I feel like that was really important to highlight, because I feel like a lot of people rush into marriages without really talking about finance and finance stability and financial freedom and all these, which is very important in a relationship. So I like how they touched that. I really liked how they touched that. That was a great thing. So I just wanted to mention that there. My highly melanated couple, Carlton and Diamond. So I'm gonna talk about Diamond first, because I have a lot to say about Carlton. Okay, so I really like Diamond. She was a sweet girl, you know, nice personality. I really like how she was understanding about Carlton speaking out about his truth in terms of being fluid sexually, and I felt like she handled it great. Carlton, on the other hand, did not handle that great. I'm gonna get to him later. Like, I felt like he was trying to like, oh, this is a lot. Like, I don't know, when he said that to her, I was like, oh my God, I don't know how Diamond is handling this, because I really felt like he could have been lying about so many things. The fact that he left out that big part of who he is out, I was just like, you were not honest. And how do you expect Diamond to trust you if you left something so big out while you're trying to get to know each other? You're supposed to put everything on the table, especially because they only had a short amount of time to get married. So it was just a bad move. Like, I understand that in terms of Carlton, he was just not ready to share that with Diamond and for the rest of the world, just because of how he would be perceived as, especially as a black man. And I get it, there's a lot of labels when placed a black man, but it's just like, to wait after you were engaged, like, that was low. To try to stereotype her into, you know, one of those, you know, in one of those like black girls that, you know, try to show attitude and all that stuff. And I'm just like, The only reason why Diamond is showing you attitude is because you called her out of your name. And that's why she's showing you attitude. So I just didn't like how he was calling her out of her name. I also thought it was BS for him to use the ring again and show that, oh, can we continue this relationship that we have? Like, I felt like that was very BS of him. And I felt like Diamond should not accept that, because the fact that he called you out of your name in front of national TV and stereotyped you to be one of those black women, it goes to show you his character and who he is as a person. It's basically like, hey, if you're not rocking with him, or if you don't see where he's coming from, he's just gonna be defensive and just call you out like that and just treat you like you're nothing. And that's what I liked about Diamond in comparison to Jessica. She knew what she wanted and she knows what she deserves. So she took her agency, she took her choice of freedom and decided to leave. She said she could do better, so she left. She was confident in herself that she deserves better and she knows she'll find someone that's good. As opposed to Jessica, she was very insecure and she knew that she didn't really like Mark like that, but she decided to stay still. And I'm just like, girl, no one's holding you back. You can leave. If you know that you want better and he's just not your type, then go find your type, right? So I like how Diamond had the courage to step up and leave. Well, I'm done in terms of the breakdown of spoilers. Do I feel like Amber, Burnett, and Lauren and Cameron will be together forever? I don't think so. Because this process was way too fast for someone to just get married and spend the rest of their lives with that other person, like within a short amount of time. I'm just saying, I don't think both couples will last, to be honest, but who would I think that would last longer? I'm gonna say Lauren and Cameron. They have better chemistry than Amber and Burnett. So yeah, let's create a discussion. You know, who was your favorite cast member? Who was your least favorite cast member? What couple are you rooting for? And yeah. Okay, so definitely subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more videos. I'll see you guys. Okay, bye.